Today in the pack, it's Pierre and Bonner, the two Juliens, who will be part of the international plans over the coming weeks. Ulster, just the one change from the team that devoured the Tigers, carcass and all, last Friday in Ravenhill. It's an enforced change with Ian Whitten coming in for the injured Darren Kay. Whitten, though, no stranger to the starting 15 of late. He had been filling in for Paddy Wallace when he was out injured. And Wallace, one of 5 Six Nations Ulstermen chosen by Declan Kidney. Andrew Trimble, Tom Court, Rory Best and Stephen Ferris are the others. But there was no full squad place for forwards Dan Toohey and Chris Henry. And that surprised a few in the Ulster camp. What better day to display their wares. The benches, and I think most would agree, advantage Clermont here. Such depth. Prop Vincent Debatty is in the French squad, but also with some super subs there too as well. Of course, Paul Marshall, we saw his name last week, a try scorer, a vital one as well, and Adam Darcy, when these two met in round 1, he came on and made such an impact as well. Well,
Clermont is the hardest place to win in Europe, an amazing atmosphere as we expected, but Ulster, they have a safety net. If they can combine the absence of fear with the intensity of last Friday, they've got a shot at it, because Clermont, for all this roar and noise and awesome atmosphere, they are in a parlous position. If they lose today, they are likely to drop out of the Heineken Cup. They have paced the pool superbly. They've picked up bonus points at home. They have got the losing points away. They've done everything to par. But Ulster last night, suddenly it opened up for them.
Ulster never won in France before. What a place to do it this would be. Ulster, the part of the sporting world which for many sets the standard for golf these days. Well, winning here is almost the club rugby equivalent of winning a major. Always a chance that Ulster, after their heroics a week ago, will come into this game already qualified. And after the events of last night, that has turned out to be the case. So time for Ulster to reset their sights and shoot for a home quarter-final. And Ravenhill, mind you, if they win here, travelling will no longer hold any fear. But who would fancy going to Ravenhill in the last 8? Not many.
Now, Johan Muller, who has been outstanding throughout for Ulster, will hope to lead this team to, at the very least, the narrowest of defeats, which would still give them the chance of a home quarter-final. A win would mark Ulster down as serious contenders for this year's Heineken Cup. Clermont, a win for them is necessity. A bonus point win, they could be at home.
Here they come, second in the top 14, in behind Toulouse. And for French rugby, it's coming down to these two now, Toulouse and Clermont-Auvergne. Not quite the only two in town, but nearly. Clermont saw what happened to Toulouse last night, and in their pool, home and away. They saw how close the French league leaders came to the exit door. Clermont about to come through that door, if you like, onto this pitch at home, and they will want to ram home this advantage to secure the points, to secure the last 8 spots.
Rougerie spearheads a magnificent backline. He and Wesley Fofana will be the French centres. Malzieu is likely to be recalled to the win. If the pack give front football to Skrela and the inspiring Morgan Parra, it is going to be a huge challenge for Ulster today.
Have Clermont timed it to perfection? And given the final pool day scenario here, if ever a side wanted to squeeze into a home quarter-final, it is this one. 36 games unbeaten on this ground. Dave Pearson, the referee, it's a test for him today. Even one with such experience is going to feel the intensity of this occasion. You can't afford to stand too close to this fire. It's Clermont's centenary season. It's Ulster's 100th Heineken Cup game. It is 100% full on here. And Ulster in the red jerseys today knowing that they've qualified, but wanting so much more than that. That is the bigger picture. Sides that go on to win this competition see the bigger picture. Early touch for cvuhecfm and gets away from the tacklers. Out to Rougerie, back inside, that has to be forward. And the whistle has gone. The roar is tremendous, but the referee, Dave Pearson, was in line. Well, but cvuhecfm showed what he could do there.
Chris Henry one-on-one with cvuhecfm doesn't have a prayer there. He's a wondrous broken field runner. Rougerie's pass, you can see, starts 2 metres outside the 22, ends up inside, definitely forward. But look at Henry's got no hope there. And cvuhecfm's dummies Gilroy, and the big guns are firing from the start. An early warning for Ulster. They cannot allow Clement to come back. The kicking of Pienaar has to be better. The chasing has to really breathe fire down this Clement back three.
cvuhecfm, 3 tries last week, 4 in the competition therefore overall. Also 3 relatively easy pickings against the Italian opposition. Pienaar, such an integral member of this Ulster side now, waiting to put into this scrum. And you can see that Ulster have quite a significant weight advantage. And as the boys were saying in the studio, Ulster really do fancy themselves here, fancy themselves up front.
Well, I think the first hour is really important as well, because when Tio Paolo, Banson Debati and Gutsi come on, it almost looks like a better, higher gear Clement pack. This is the time when they can really attack them, I think. Clement love to play impact rugby in the second half. Ulster, they've got to come out of the blocks fast in the scrum and try and get an edge.
Pienaar, the man from Bloemfontein, puts in. Vandenberg, another South African, picks up at the base. But Clement have dealt with him. But Vandenberg was strong there. Refused to have the ball ripped away. Pienaar. He's got Humphries waiting.
Wait! With a winger, yeah, good.
And up the line it goes. Another big left boot on the field belongs to that man, Lee Byrne, formerly of the Ospreys, of course. Julien Melzier back in the French squad. Some would say,
Run away!
why has he ever been out of it for the last few years? Clement starting to get up ahead of steam here. That's Benjamin Kaiser. Morgan Parra to David Skrella, preferred to Brock James, the most intriguing of Clement's selections, the fly half. cvuhecfm again, he's away from Humphries, Vandenberg. cvuhecfm looks to the referee, who shakes his head. Ball comes back from Terblanche. Of course, there's no winger there. He was up attacking, there he is. Fullback is Lee Byrne, and that will be touch.
Good kick from Lee Byrne, but cvuhecfm is dynamite at the moment. Here you can see Skrella first of all on the gain line. It's quick ball recycled, and Parra goes left to right very quickly. And cvuhecfm in no space at all, has left Gilroy for dead. There is a bit of a tug there, but he milks it, and I think he milks it so much that David Rose, the near side touch judge, just says play on. But a fearsome start from the former All Black.
Yes, it wasn't very pasteurised, was it, from cvuhecfm there? A bit blatant. The referee didn't like the taste of it. There's Pienaar into midfield with Wallace, and then Ulster try and get Big Ferris moving. It'll be a major tactic of theirs today, but it's covered by Fofana. And here come Clement again, in the shape of Lee Byrne. Morgan Parra, he's very good at finding those big forwards coming through, and they're going right through at the moment, and Parra is the man to drop it. As he got there in support of those forwards, they covered an awful lot of ground, and very quickly too. Ulster put it.
Well, Ulster have a problem here. They just can't stop the genie at the moment. Morgan Parra, wide balls, and then quick balls. The initial very lateral attack from Ulster is turned around, and Clement want to go quickly. Parra at the fringe, and that's a lovely offload by French international Julien Pierre. And then look who's on hand, Nathan Hines. Good football in second rows. Debatable whether that did go forward. but it's quick ball for Clermont at the moment, and with quick ball, Morgan Parra will destroy the best organised team. Ulster have got to bottle up the home team better than they're doing.
Touch.
36 in a row here, and we can see why already in this first 5 minutes. Ulster have got to weather this.
7
Pienaar again.
Good now.
And Byrne again. But he elects this time not to kick and look for the on-fire cvuhecfm. Tackle is from Paddy Wallace, who was injured in the first meeting between these two. A thumb injury and was out for 7 weeks as a consequence. Rougerie, oh, he is taken out there. Ferris came across, Court was there with him.
Not certain whether there was any attempt to make the tackle. There's no longer the spear. There's the go low beneath the knee, and it is quite dangerous. Great commitment there from Ferris. But I mean, technically, that's throwing your body in there. Hard to see how that's a tackle. But again, Julien Pierre, the offload is very good.
I love that. Technically, that's throwing your body in there. And there are players throwing their bodies around at the start of this game, and they will have to for the full 80 minutes. Certainly those in red. Retrieved by Dan Tui, and it's a penalty for Ulster, and they really needed that. A little bit of relief.
It's been a very good first 6 minutes for Clermont, but Miles, we've been here so many times. In particular, I can recall the Munster games and Leinster games where, for an hour, Clermont seemed as if they would just engulf the opposition. But they don't often play for 80 minutes, and what Ulster have got to do, they've got to weather the storm, hold out. Clermont do give teams chances. They play with such width and such pace that they make an error and the field does open up to the opposition team. So they've got to be patient and they've got to be organised.
And without wanting to take anything away from the Ulster contribution to this side, it's a time when the South Africans, Vandenberg, Muller, Pienaar, and all that experience, all those caps, Terblanche as well now, they really need to come to the fore. And Pienaar gives it to Humphries, and Humphries ran on the loop, but it's young Gilroy who scored against Leicester last week, 21 years of age, who come off his wing, and Ulster go to the other wing. And of course there is Andrew Trimble. He's lost it. It's gone forward, but Rougerie's looking to play out, and he finds Fofana. That was good from Rougerie. And as Stuart says, that could well be the French combination in midfield. Come the Six Nations. David Skrella, well, he's no longer in the French squad, but he's a banker when it comes to kicking the touch.
Trimble was deadly last week against Leicester. He loses the ball here, but also will be very disappointed that they can't stop Rougerie in his in-goal area and at least force them to take a scrum. First up tackling, not quite as good as it should be. Rougerie very strong. And Wesley Fofana, he has been terrorising the gain line in the Heineken Cup so far this season. They have to be sharper, the men from Northern Ireland.
Talking to the Ulster management before the game, obviously the initial euphoria last night when the team realised that they qualified, but very quiet this morning, realising what they're stepping into this afternoon and how it will test them, test their mettle, their ambitions in this competition. We'll learn an awful lot about Ulster over the next 70 minutes or so that remain in this game. There's Ferris, Pienaar, Arfoa. Talked about the South Africans, of course. He's come from New Zealand and has made a telling contribution too. That is it, a telling kick? Yes, it is, according to the assistant. Roy Maybank on that far side. It was off the boot of Humphries, and the assistant says well judged.
Well, we're at the other side of the pitch. Initially, I thought that's out on the full. Mauser certainly does. Roy Maybank takes a miniature eternity there to come to the mine. It's the right sort of tactics, though, from Humphries, whether he's got lucky or not. Ulster want to be playing Clermont 22. They want some set pieces. They want a bit of pace out of the game, and they want Clermont in their own 22.
Taken by Bonnet. I'm not sure we needed the flag signal from Melzier. Far too much of that creeping into the game these days. The official knows that he's got a flag, and he uses it again. Much less controversial, this one, although the boos can still be heard as Skrella finds another touch.
I think John McEnroe will be arguing there was chalk.
Vosloo missed a tackle earlier. He was then heavily involved with Fofana. But again, presentation from Ulster, good. They're not winning the one-on-one battles, but they're keeping the ball. The atmosphere is sensational.
They've heard the voice there, Dave Pearson, the referee, looking for McEnroe-style chalk dust. That was Henry doing good work at the tail, waiting for the others to come round and launch themselves into attack. But he's holding on, said Dave Pearson. And eventually, the home crowd, in this phase of the game, get their wish.
Gives Dave Pearson's age away. I mean, couldn't it have been Federer or Nadal, chalk dust? Or, of course, it's not chalk now, is there? He's right.
Not with Hawkeye.
Different sort of player to Brock James, David Skrella. Probably a safer player, doesn't have the flair of James, but he's probably slightly less flaky as well. There's the penalty. Ulster off the feet, and Paddy Wallace having a little chat.
Skrella goes all the way back to the Colomiers versus Ulster final in '99. Came on as a young man, as a replacement in that game. There's Ulster, the year that they became European champions. Now they know they've qualified for the knockout stages for the first time 2 years in a row. That's happened with last night's results. And what's also happened here is that they were put into this scrum.
Well, that wasn't very good from Clement. That was pretty poor. The throw from Benjamin Kaiser was over the top. It went to Clement Reek, the very squat prop. And Ulster got there quickly because that wasn't the plan. But Clement kept him up, and the ball is the call. Ulster get the turnover.
Crouch. Touch. Pause.
Reek and Four are the two props for Clement Auvergne, and Reek, the very squat prop, used his squatness well there, really well. Manu made his Heineken Cup debut last year, and he gets stronger and stronger. In, of course, because of injury to Zirakashvili, the Georgian, and it gets worse for Ulster, not just the penalty, but now the sin bin as well.
That's very clever. Tui's the man going to the bin. He just levels Morgan Parra quickly, but if you watch the replay, when the French broadcasters bring it in, Parra really gave Tui no option. He was so close to him. You watch this now. Taps, and he goes. What can he do? Parra has seen no space there. It's completely claustrophobic. He's always going to be running into an Ulster shirt. He's always looking for the penalty, and he's looking for the yellow card. Technically, he's done nothing wrong, but it's a little bit cynical, and I think he's just fooled Dave Pearson. Maybe there, Pearson just looks at him thinking, what could Tui do? Clever from Parra.
There was a slight doubt for this game. Banged his shoulder against Ironi last week. He's got an international battle on his hands against Jashvili, who's right back in the picture under Saint-Andre. Watching him kick when we arrived at the ground at lunchtime, and was almost faultless then, striking the ball as sweetly as humanly possible. Can he take that into the game? Oh, yes, he can. And the first points to Clement Auvergne, and not just that. The sin bin for Dan Tui. Ulster down to 14, and this is not a ground where you want to be down on numbers.
Also, first blood in the scrum, and Ulster thought they could have an edge there, but Clement with the squat prop, Reek to the fore. That's a big psychological blow, not to mention 3 points and an extra man. Ulster need to hang on now. They've got 10 minutes when they mustn't let the home team get away.
Backwards.
Humphries with that low restart.
Inside.
A tester for the forwards.
For the middle and kicked it, not a problem.
Ball was out. Ulster went through and hacked on. And the referee was having to let that go. And now Ulster are getting really stuck in at this breakdown, and they've won this turnover ball. Pinar doesn't get long. Fofana comes forward.
Two knock-ons.
And the referee's going to give the knock-on. the first of which came from Ulster.
Graham Pienaar so good last Friday, just took his eye off the ball there. Could have been a critical turnover for Ulster. They did brilliantly there to turn over Malzer. And Pienaar took his eye off the ball. He didn't do that for 80 minutes last week. And a chance goes.
Saw the speed of Fofana there as he came up on Pienaar.
But that's unlike Pienaar, isn't it? By the time Fofana's got there, Pienaar has just spilt that ball.
You're right in the way where we're going to scrummage in, so we're not moving. Cheers.
And we have a situation here that if Ulster stay within the bonus point, they will, of course, finish on 20 points, come on winning this game and finishing on 20. Both would qualify, but Ulster would finish top of the pool. It is so tight because of what happened at Ravenhill. That was a 4-1 match situation. Then, of course, point situation, that is. If that is the same, we will go to the try count. So it's worth remembering what the situation was at Ravenhill. One apiece. And its point difference. Ulster +5 at Ravenhill in that particular match. Here's Rougerie. And here's Sidovini Sivivatu, and that has never been his strongest suit, the kick.
Well, having said that, when he played full-back for Waikato, he did get better there, but he was always having to work it. He is a natural broken field runner. Brilliant footwork. That wasn't the greatest kick. Of course, just going back to that points difference. 3-0 to Clermont at the moment. 5's the magic number, isn't it? If Clermont wins 6-0, they will have a 1-point advantage. It's so tight. There's nothing in this at the moment.
Up went Muller. Referee's holding out an arm there. He thinks, Dave Pearson, that there was a penalty offence. Muller is
underneath,
feeling the injury as well, and there's a man that Ulster do not want to lose, not just because of his leadership qualities, because of this line-out ability as well. Up he goes. Of course, there's no Tui on the field at the moment. And there's a judge to have been taken out.
Well, I understand why you say a judge there. I think Julien Pierre, the French international lock, is the guilty party, or the man adjudged to be guilty there. I mean, unless you're saying you cannot touch a man at all, I don't think there was any taken out there. I think Ulster are a little bit fortunate. Now, you need your good luck, and Pienaar has to ride that and take 3 points here.
And here's another player who's been striking the ball superbly of late. Just like Morgan Parrott. Willem Pienaar to level at 3 apiece. All during the sin bin period too. Which will be a big bonus to Ulster to score points during this spell when Dan Tui is off the field. Pienaar showing that he's striking it well.
Well, what Ulster have been able to do in the last 5-6 minutes or so is play territorially exactly where they need to be. Ever since Humphrey's kick, they got themselves into the 22 of Clermont. Nothing too flash, but they didn't allow Clermont to get away, and they held the scoreboard well.
Man is not caught.
Rougerie, of course, quick on the restart, but he's tall as well. It has gone forward.
That's twice now at the restart. Skrela has looked to his captain, Aurélien Rougerie, and twice Rougerie has got there in front of Ulster men, but twice he's knocked the ball on left hand again. There you can see it. Beats Paddy Vonenberg, but can't control the ball.
Signed a new contract, Ian Rougerie.
Oh, where are we going?
One club man. Whenever there was one Aurélien Rougerie.
Have to be able to touch, that's all I'm after.
Time for Tui to take a blow a little bit early in the match. For that, though, he'll be itching to get back on.
Touch.
Brought in the extra man for the scrum.
Engage. Oh.
It's number 13, Ian Whitt, who's joined as a flanker.
Managed it so far so good for Ulster. Well organised. Disrupted scrum, which suits the visitors. It's another 30 or 40 seconds. And Ruan Pienaar won't be in any great hurry to put this ball in again.
You can almost see a bubble of calmness around Pienaar.
Pause. Engage.
Reassuring presence in this side. We said it before. It's over to the referee. He looks every inch. The international, 51 caps to his name, and he'll be relishing this contest with fellow international player Morgan Parra. It's France meets South Africa there.
And it's a critical one, isn't it? It's one that South Africa probably need to win if Ulster are to come away with a win here in France. He's so patient, so clever here, Pienaar. Dave Pearson, he's been addressing the Clermont front row, and there'll be no hurry for Pienaar to put this ball in. He'll be sowing seeds of doubt into Dave Pearson's mind here, looking for a free kick.
Pause. Engage.
Those seeds have popped up, and Parra will have another penalty.
Well, that's a really good scrum again from Clermont. Clermont Rick put in the big pressure on. John Afoa penalised. He's got a great record of Afoa. Ulster haven't lost when he's been playing, but it's not been the greatest 20 minutes for the Ulster scrum. They've steadied the game, they've got themselves back into it, but they will be concerned that this set piece at the moment is not going according to plan.
Never won in France before this, their 14th attempt for Ulster. One draw against Toulouse way back in 2000. Some game it was too. It finished 35 apiece. Never victorious in this competition on this country's soil. Clermont, their history, 3 quarter-finals. Never beyond the last 8 stage. Is this their year? They've sorted out their domestic strife. Time you feel to push the barriers in Europe now. Long overdue. Here's Parra, and here's 3 points. The two go hand in hand. Or 14 foot.
Well, Inyashvili and Parra, France have 2 of the best goal kickers in international rugby, and Parra has translated his national form into Heineken form. He is such a good kicker, and he kicks them under pressure.
Ian Humphries, who scored all 16 points in the first meeting. And of course, those kicking duties now have gone to Ruan Pienaar. A useful backup. That's Vosloo who takes it on. Gerhard Vosloo from Pretoria. There's Lee Byrne joining the line with Aurélien Rougerie. Rougerie coming through 2 tackles there, and that's a very important boot from Paddy Wallace as Sivivati tried to go up the line. But Rougerie showed his genuine strength there. Tui about to come back on. Ulster not too scarred during the Simbin spell.
Just missing a couple of game line tackles this time. It's Ian Whitten there. Humphries doesn't really make a great effort there. 2 or 3 beaten, and you're right, Ulster haven't been scarred. But slightly worrying the scrum situation, and the fact the first up tackles are having to be 3rd, 4th tackles, and at some stage Clermont will get territory, and then it'll hurt.
Kaiser's throw, but Ulster ball.
Oh, it's a ball! You left it!
So the intervention from Paddy Wallace.
Step out, lads.
He has delivered something very positive here. Chance for Ulster to attack with Vandenberg and entry. Got in a bit of a pickle there, but Humphries has come this side on his own, and that's a lovely turn of speed from the fly half. He goes over the top. Sivivati, I think he knew exactly what he was doing there, and Humphries will look for the penalty, but I don't think he's going to get it.
Advantage overcalled by Dave Pearson. Split second before Humphries, who had left Parra for dead, gets taken out by Sivivati. It's a beautiful step there. And Sivivati runs him out. And Humphries says, oh, you've got away with that one. Both well out of the field of play, but there's a clear block there.
It's looked like a penalty in real time, even more so on the replay as Parra's down. Caught by Gilroy, looks for Vandenberg.
Yeah, I'll move.
Quite as many caps as Pienaar. Vandenberg's got 20 to his name. Ian Humphries with the up and under. Who's going to take that one? Lee Byrne was under it. That's a magnificent catch. It really is. Parra quickly away to Skrilla. Skrilla thought about giving it to Rougerie, but then took on Paddy Wallace. Here is Rougerie now. Oh, Vandenberg hadn't been looking. It might have been interception, but it is for Gilroy. Oh, what a tap tackle that is from Lionel Thor, the loose head prop. Otherwise, Gilroy was in, but still a chance here for Ulster as Humphries gives it. Tui was involved. Arfoa trying to get there. They need to move it. They've got men to the right. Humphries one of them. Wallace two. And then I think it's knocked on by Henry. Anyway, the penalty has been given. And that was a big chance, a really big chance.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was Wallace who stepped in field when he didn't need to. There were still men on the outside there. The temptation not to test your skill to the limit, and Clement forced them in. And then there were white shirts and the opportunity had gone. Error from Rougerie. And there was a real chance there. Here's the error from Rougerie, awful pass. And here's the despairing but brilliant tap tackle from Four.
Sivavati was getting across, but Gilroy was motoring. Lionel Four never let it happen. But then, as you say, Stuart, it was still off.
Last Friday, Ulster early on had one of those chances against Leicester. They took it brilliantly. Just got to be a little bit sharper at the moment.
Kayser to throw. He was a replacement for Leicester in a final of this competition in 2009. And it's not going well for Clement Auvergne at the line-out in lots of different ways.
No, very annoying. Pierre wins the ball with great ease. Soft pass there. Parra, though, he's just half a metre further back than Pierre thinks he'll be, and frustration there. And every one of those little errors from the home team just allow Ulster to build their way into the game.
There's no doubt the pressure really is all on Clement today. They are the side that haven't qualified.
Crouch.
That's what we said before, isn't it? You know, they will probably go out the Heineken Cup if they lose. They are expected to win. They've got 18,000 fans here. And Ulster have got to turn the screw, and they've got a chance here. Should be in Ruan Pinar's range.
Straight across the scrum. If you don't hinge, makes that job easy. Number 3 just went straight across the scrum.
And that one's gone against Clement Rick. So a bit of a turnaround there for Ulster. That's, if they were going to pick a penalty at the moment, that's the one they would have chosen, one at the scrum.
There you can see Rick coming across Dave Pearson's side. Ruan Pinar's range. It was an electric start from Clement Auvergne, but they've fallen off their game a little bit, and Ulster have got very muscular, caused them problems.
Let's be honest, generally we're staying up, aren't we?
They played a lot of the game in the right part. Have worked their way back into it. Not sensational, not the staggering rugby we saw at times against Leicester, but they're just fighting their way back into this contest.
Of course, Ireland never had 3 teams in the knockout stages before. That has changed now. What price? All 3 being at home. That is what Ulster are chasing today. This is not a shot to nothing. It is shot to something that is very, very big indeed. The quarter-final at Ravenhill. Pinar, what about his shot here? No, the flag stay down. They have to garner every point today, every possibility. They've now missed a scoring opportunity with a try, and Ruan Pinar, even though that was a long way out, and Clement being pulled back, will be disappointed that he didn't land the 3 there.
Second ball just got thrown on.
Yeah, Malzer will be disappointed because he took a quick tap, and Ulster weren't quite sharp as they could have been, but there was a second ball on the pitch, so Malzer was prevented from one of those mazy power runs of his.
He's taking a few hits early on, as Pedro Vandenberg.
Good clean out, stay there.
But even when he's driven back, he holds on to that ball. As does Ferris. Man of the match in the round 1 meeting as Voslo comes up.
Legal.
And that is Rick kicking through for Clermont. And Witten has to respond quickly and he won't get long. And he gets his kick away and he just got enough on it.
That's a very good kick from Witten. Boss Lewis starting to put increasing pressure on at the breakdown. Some very big tackles. Great pressure there. Pierre was alongside his man. Vandenberg hit very hard by the Praetorian flanker who has made a new career for himself. Struggling to make the top grade in South Africa. High-class performer in France and the Heineken.
Cotter looks on. And Kaiser throws in. And it's more problems for Clermont at the line out. Vandenberg takes that. Now it's Humphries to Wallace. Paddy Wallace over the top of Lee Byrne. It's all about the break on this ball. In fact, Byrne's going to have to play it. He wants it on the left. And because of that, he has gifted Ulster an opportunity here to run it hard and straight with Vandenberg to Gilroy. Out it goes to Henry. Henry cutting back inside very well indeed. Pienaar to Humphries. Ferris, we know what he's going to do. He's going to take them on through the middle. And he got off Foa with him. Hit this hard, Ulster, and there's every chance. There are so many red shirts. Who's going to score it? Is it Trimble again? No, because Clermont get across. Just wasn't quite the precision on the pass. It had to go high and over the top, but it still might be on as Humphries comes in. Pienaar to Court. Tom Court. What a charge that was from Stephen Ferris. But there needs to be another. Here's Rory Best, and it's going to be a penalty for the obstruction.
What on earth was Lee Byrne doing there? What on earth was Lee Byrne doing there? Dave Pearson's called that back. No panic there. But Byrne just has to put that ball out or smash it long. It should have been a try. I think there's a hand gets to the ball that's intended for Trimble, and that just checks him out. The cover is very good, but that's another chance gone. Humphries with a floated pass. Witten just gets a hand. Trimble checked, but this time there are three Clermont men coming across, Fafana included.
So that's two major scoring opportunities that Ulster haven't taken, one on either flank, Stuart.
Yeah, I think, though, you've got to say Clermont worked very hard on their scramble as well. I think you've got to give them quite a lot of credit. If you think back to last week, it was Tuolangi on his own. When Clermont got men there, they had 2-3. It wasn't a matter of just beating one. It was a chance, but it was made very difficult by the quality of the defence. But Lee Byrne, it was all started from an awful piece of full-back playing. If Warren Gatland is watching that, that is a very black mark against the former Ospreys 15.
Pienaar a little bit closer in this time, as you can see, but
I know you're excited.
Driven wide.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
On the positioning of the penalty. Fine lines at this level, isn't it? Fine lines. Just on the wrong side of the line a couple of times, Ulster. What about Pienaar? Well, what about Pienaar? That takes mental resolve from him, having just missed, having just seen the potential try squandered. Pienaar makes sure that Ulster leave the Clermont half with 3 points. It's 6 apiece.
Well, the one he missed was 45 metres out. He struck it really well. It was a good kick. He just didn't quite have the accuracy. So nothing wrong with his game. And that's why Pienaar fancied himself to level the game.
I know where you're coming from, but no.
So what would the table be now? Ulster on 21. And Clermont, of course, on 18. Getting out in front of the dreaded 17, which is where Harlequins find themselves at the moment. Also Edinburgh and Cardiff Blues, who both play tomorrow. At least they've still got
Stay straight, don't hinge.
A game in
Crouch.
hand.
Touch.
18 should be enough if it was to end up as a draw, especially as Clermont have got so many tries. But no chickens are for counting this weekend.
Humphries.
Great kick.
Beautiful angle from Humphries. Knew exactly where he wanted to put that. And delivered for his team. course, older brother David was part of that 1999 Cup final side, and David, watching from the sidelines today in his capacity as boss off the field, would have been proud of younger brother there. That was a fine kick.
Superb arrowing kick. Now, Ulster will try and target this line-out. Julien Bonner, one of the world's great line-out forwards, and I don't think we've mentioned him winning a line-out thus far. And you can see what Clermont have been forced to do. They've cut the numbers down.
2 meters.
Hines, Bonner, Pierre, 3 big line-out jumpers.
But doubts in the minds here. Quite sure what they want to do. There's no risk taken. And it was Nathan Hines at the front. And he used to captain, a joint captain Perpignan, of course. And there he is, the Scottish international, wrapping his arms around the neck of an opponent who threatens Pedro Vonenberg to come through on the wrong side. David Strella, this will be Gilroy's, watches it and gives it to Stefan Terblanche, now 36 years of age. What a former Osprey fullback in this match, along with Lee Byrne, and there is Byrne.
Stay on. Hey, don't!
It's gone so quickly this first half. This, therefore, a vital little period before the interval.
Byrne is a commanding presence, isn't he, under the high ball.
He's a really big man. Strella.
Stay on. Fight!
Pick and go through the middle. It's Malzieu. He's away from Pienaar. He takes on Terblanche. And Terblanche just done enough. But Malzieu back to his feet. Heard the referee say wasn't held. Whitten then does hold on to his man to try and slow it down. It's that important period again before half-time. We saw Ulster against Leicester last week. Profit in these minutes. Can the home side Clermont here do the same? Pierre takes it on. And listen to the noise in the stadium now. But it's good tackling from the men in red. And once more, Ferris goes in. And it's going to be an Ulster penalty.
That's well played, Ulster, because they had to withstand the highest class attack from Clermont there. That was Clermont Auvergne at their best. The power of Malzieu sprinting through the middle, and the little offload from Para was delightful. But Ulster are tough, and they're rugged, and they're making the turnovers, and they're scrambling the penalties, and they've done ever so well, because that was a really dangerous attack. Malzieu straight through the middle, the big fend. Terblanche is never going to tackle him one-on-one. It's just the right hand there. But if you see Morgan Para when this goes, Sivivatu and Para worked it absolutely beautifully. We go back to the high step in left wing. Lovely step there, and Terblanche doesn't have the pace, but he's just about got the tap.
Malzieu, the man who went into the weekend as joint leading try scorer in the competition with Mike Brown of Harlequins. And of course, Danavu of Toulouse, who added to his total last night, all in vain in terms of the match result, but not when it came to winning the pool. How close Toulouse came to the sortie door.
Still a really bad result for Toulouse. No one wanted to go to that part of France. A nightmare away quarter-final, but we know Toulouse are 6th seed. We know they have to go away.
Can Clermont be at home? Came so close in their last quarter-final. And they played against Leinster away from home, 29-28. Lost to Cass in 2002 by a point in the last 8. They do know all about coming close, Clermont Auvergne, over the years. Here's Vandenberg, advantage to Ulster. Pienaar, Humphreys. Referee going to come back. We'll see if Trimble can get on the end of it. And he is going to come back. Dave Pearson. That was collapsed. Ulster certainly haven't.
No, they've had to fight really hard. But in the dark parts of the pitch, they've done extremely well. What they're doing, they're getting red shirts there in numbers, and it's forced Clermont to collapse it. As you can see, the crowd don't like it, but I think Dave Pearson's absolutely right. And Ruan Pienaar, who is striking the ball extremely well, definitely has the range from here. He's on the other side, but he'll send that left foot of his straight through the ball.
And the quality of chances, the better ones, have fallen Ulster's way in this first half.
Well, Miles, if you think about it territorially, after the first 10 minutes or so, when Clermont came so hard and fast at Ulster have quelled them. They've slowed the pace down, and it's been individual moments of brilliance, like we saw from Malzur. But Ulster, their kick game's getting in the right part. Their forwards are just slowing Clermont down. It's not pretty, but it's pragmatic, and they're doing a decent job here.
David Humphreys. Now we'd love Jerome Pienaar to do what he used to do in Ulster colours, and that is smack it over. It's a long way out, on the angle as well. But he's a strong man, and he's in a good rhythm, and he sends it wide. You can see the distance was almost there with that.
Left foot splayed a bit there, the non-kicking foot. It's been so solid so far, but he just opened up the body and it just faded away.
Ball's going to come back into play, lads.
Not one of his greatest technical strikes there.
Not so hot against the Irish teams of late, Clermont and Vernon. I wonder if that is in their minds. Of course, Munster and Leinster have left here with bonus points. Stefan Terblanche is thinking he's back on the high belt, and he's going for a long drop goal.
Yes, yes.
It wasn't too far short, was it? And considering where it was taken from, Stefan Terblanche there.
Well, that was wonderful technique from Terblanche. Could have been a half-time lead for Ulster. It's not, but they will be pleased. They've slowed Clermont down. They're where they'd like to be.
Yes, Ulster's half really not quite reflected in the score, but it's 6 apiece. They won't complain about that. Hope your kettle is a quick one.
Well, what a totally absorbing 40 minutes of rugby. Pool 4 is coming to the boil, and Ulster are right in the hunt. Perhaps they should, perhaps they could be in front, but at the moment they are where they want to be in this battle with Clermont. We'll have half-time analysis for you in just a moment. Quarters. In terms of Pool 4, very much on a knife edge, but what a first 40 from Ulster. 6 apiece as it stands at the moment, and that will be enough for them to top the pool. Clermont will go through as one of the best runners-up, but a big 40 for both of these two to settle the equation. Leicester, as you can see, have turned it around. 9-6 at home to Aironi, but at the moment they are out of the equation. However, let's get back to the Stade Marcel Michelin, and match commentary again coming from Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Yes, thanks, Alex. Of course, what happens here has big implications for what follows, as you were saying, at the MK Stadium between Northampton and Munster. I used the golf analogy right at the start of the game. Well, in terms of qualification, Leinster are in the clubhouse, aren't they, with 24 and looking at a home quarter-final. As it stands at the moment, Ulster would be topping the pool with the draw, but they wouldn't necessarily be at home at Ravenhill in the last 8. 21 points will be the Ulster total after a draw. Of course, Munster on 20, and they have today's game to try and overtake that. Edinburgh and Cardiff Blues both on 17, so they could get out in front of Ulster's 21, and Saracens too. They play tomorrow. They're on 18 at the moment, and obviously a victory would take them on to 22. So Ulster are giving themselves a very good chance of a home quarter-final with this draw, but they aren't guaranteeing it. And see what happens in what should be a fascinating second half here. And again, as the lads were saying in the studio, this start to the second period is so important. That is Julian Bardi. I didn't mention his name too much in the first period. It suggests that Henry was getting there first. Gilroy. Not selected in the Wolfhounds, which surprised a few. Craig Gilroy. He's still young. A year ago, he hadn't tasted any of this. And quite a year for him. Was talking about that this week. Another winger is Trimble. He's on the floor, and he's lost that. An advantage for Clermont with Fofana. No clear advantage.
Knock on, scrum.
Craig Gilroy needs to be just a little bit careful there, trying to sidestep his way through Clermont. 30 metres from his own line is not the ideal plan. And then when Ian Humphries put the high ball up, its wind is starting to swirl here in the Auvergne, and I think right now Ulster's kicking game needs to be very accurate. They're going high because they don't want to give any opportunity for this Clermont factory to counter-attack, but they don't want to just leave it too short.
It's now positioned personally at the back of the stand here. We can really feel the wind. Not necessarily down there on the pitch. Earlier it was quite calm, but when the ball goes high, there is a bit of a swirling breeze. Brian McLaughlin getting his communication sorted out, send out all the right messages to his team in this second half. Para kicks. Little bobble around. It came off Ian Whitten, who's in for Darren Kay, who's out for 6 weeks. Scan on Monday revealing his injury and the extent of it. Cvuhecfm doing well there. How well he started the game, the New Zealand All Black.
He's been very hungry for work all game.
Popping up again. Para. Skrella testing out that win, but he's not really got the distance on the kick, and it's one that Ulster can attack. It came off Gilroy's leg, and it's picked up well by Para as it came shooting towards him. No scrum half there now for Clermont-Auvergne. Does Nathan Hines fancy the job, or maybe even Lionel Faure, the former Sale man?
All very slow, and Ulster again get the penalty at the breakdown.
Well, that was the point about the lack of scrum half. There was nobody slapping bottoms there, for the want of a better phrase, from the Clermont-Auvergne point of view. It was slow, it never came back. Bit of slapping going on with Ruan Pienaar.
Well, that's why Pienaar, though, he's got the penalty for that. Those 5-6 punches were the punches that made sure Dave Pearson was notified of the fact that the guard was in an offside position. Good experience from Pienaar, whose previous kick to Cvuhecfm wasn't very good, after a pretty poor kick from Morgan Para that hit Whitten, but Reek makes a bit of an error there, and it gives Ulster easy field position. And I think this wind, I think it's swirling more than anything right now.
Best throws down from Muller to Pienaar. And the referee is giving a knock on again. Nothing coming back that time for Clermont-Auvergne, so they'll put into this scrum. Although we keep looking at it from an Ulster perspective, of course, it's all about dumping Clermont out of the competition as well. If Ulster can go on and win this game.
From the European perspective, if Ulster win this game and Clermont, who still would have a chance because they scored so many points if they got 17, but if Clermont were to go out of this tournament, that would be a major shock. Along with Toulouse, they are one of the two French powerhouses. They plotted their way to round 6 very efficiently, but Ulster are just not playing according to script.
Clermont at the moment, that tenuous link through the bonus point, but they could be about to suffer going behind in the game here, because Ulster, who were having so much difficulty at the scrum at the start of the match, well, we saw that turn around in the first half. Well, it's done a full 360 now as Ulster drive forward, and Clermont need to start to think about their bench. Tiki Palo, the Samoan hooker, Vincent Debatty, also there, the French international prop.
Problem is, impact subs are fantastic when you have really solid foundations, but if your foundations are a little bit wobbly, as it is at the moment, then sometimes it can actually destabilise you even more. This pack in the first 45 minutes aren't doing what Vern Cotter sent them out to do at the moment.
Well, Ruan Pienaar was signed to do this in matches like this. Takes a deep breath as the clock ticks. Inevitably the pressure builds, and look at the scoreboard. We're telling just how important this is. Ruan Pienaar, but you wouldn't know, would you? You wouldn't know from the end result. They salute him. Home fans generous in their applause as well, but that's just because there's quite a lot of time to go.
Well, here come the substitutions.
Debatti is coming on. Here's the man born in Belgium, and also Brock James, and we were talking about that at half-time, weren't we, Stuart, how long it would be before James came on with his own unique way of directing operations here.
Well, he's a sublime passer of the ball, and he's probably a better tactical kicker than Skrella on a good day. Pressure's on him now, though.
And he has flaked before, but there, from James, restart is Debatti straight into it. Hank comes in from Ulster. Referee is giving a penalty if Clermont want it for offside, but they are looking for the try, and it's Rougerie to Byrne, Lee Byrne. Morgan Parra. Vosloo is there, trying to offload. Wallace is round on the wrong side, trying to prevent that ball from coming back, but he can't. It's with Parra again to James. What an impact from James at the restart, and also Debatti. And there's the penalty for Clermont Auvergne, having just gone behind.
Marvellous work from Vern Cotter. He brings on James and Debatti. Ulster just slip up in terms of concentration, and the two new men give a chance for Rougerie's side to level the score. And it is tightrope stuff, as we said before, for Clermont. It was wonderful chase by Debatti. For Clermont, you know, they're thinking, hey, we don't want to draw, but what we mustn't do is lose. 18 points is significant. Biarritz would not be able to catch them, or Ospreys, even with a bonus point win, because of the massive haul of tries they got against Aroni last week. 18 does the job. I think Clermont know it, but when you're on such a tightrope, it doesn't make it easy to play with fluency. When you're that aware of the fine margin.
25 tries, the Clermont total in the competition so far. When we're looking between pools, into pool, if you like, then that's when the try count comes into play. When we're considering these two teams within this pool, it's aggregate match points, i.e. the points that sides earn for winning the game or drawing it, or bonus points added into, then tries, and then points difference. Here's Morgan Parra to level again. Well, Ulster have got in front, but it didn't last long.
Don't be disappointed, Ulster, albeit it was a very fine kick from Brock James and a superb chase by Vincent Debatti, who I think is going to be very close to the French 22 for the Six Nations. Nevertheless, Ulster didn't handle a kick-off. You have to get those basics right, especially in a bare pit like this stadium.
Back at where we were at half-time, level. Melzier. Such a big man, he's got tremendous feet.
Not for kicking, he never kicks, he can't kick, but he can run.
Yeah, he does look to run every time because of that lack of kicking weapon, but this man doesn't lack for a boot. Brock James, wearing number 22.
When James is on form, he's one of the most rhythmic fly halves in this hemisphere. Here's Malzieu. Is a poor kicker of a ball, but he is an absolute beast on the front foot. He always gives his pack the front foot, and then his mate Brock James comes on and hits a sublime 50-metre kick.
So there we are, back again with a table that shows Ulster going through because of the draw as pool winners. Clermont all but there, given their try total, and in comes cvuhecfm. On Ferris, you could see it happening. It's a little bit laboured that time across the Ulster back line. It's gone forward off the Clermont player, so Ulster will put into the scrum. It's shipped along, and then you can see the knock-on as Ferris tried to pass.
Yeah, cvuhecfm read that quite well. Clever idea. Ferris is a very quick player, but the passing wasn't quite crisp enough, which enabled the Clermont right wing to really engulf Ferris. Never going to get the extra man there. Gilroy never getting a run.
Just if you're asking the question, why do Clermont all but go through if they're on 18? Well, of course, Edinburgh and Cardiff both on 17. So second place in that pool could end up on 18 tomorrow. And the Saracens, Biarritz, Ospreys pool, it could be an 18 points for the second place team. But let's go back to that point about the Clermont tries. 25 tries. That's not going to be topped. 18 points will take Clermont through as a best second place team.
stationary.
Yes, there could be a miracle in Biarritz, but if you're not a man who believes in miracle, then you'll think a draw would do it. But geez, we got half an hour of this game to go, and there could be drama. There could be one of the great wins in Ulster's career. There could be a win that Clermont have just got to chisel anyhow to stay in this tournament.
36 straight wins here. 36. Mind you, miracles do happen. You went halves on dinner last night.
Oh. You stun me sometimes.
Here's Humphries. And Wallace, that extra kicking option. And you're right to scoff, by the way, and I don't mean you did. Taken by Lee Byrne. Calling the mark.
I assume that Lee Byrne will not try some intricate little dink as he did in the first half. But that's a poor kick.
Ian Humphries. And James, did he call for the mark? He's looking at the referee. Because we're never going to hear it. Not from here, not in this noise. And James away. Smooth since he's come on.
Yeah, very calm, very assured. He's patrolling the back there. Certainly did mark the ball. Didn't put the statutory right arm up. Crooked right arm, but he called the mark.
Step down.
So Debati already on, and now T.E. Polo coming on to the former Crusaders man.
Now he packs a punch, carrying and tackling.
And if he didn't go halves, I wouldn't mention it. Paulo, though, beaten to it by Rory Best. Back goes Parra, doesn't take it cleanly. I keep saying it, but these are big minutes now, aren't they? Now that Clermont have come back and levelled again. It's not just about staying in touch for Ulster in this game. In times when they've been dictating, look the more likely to score. It really was their first half based on the quality of the chances created. There's our foe after Trimble had taken it up initially. That game workhorse that he is. Humphries to Wallace, and Wallace looking for the offload to find Witten. Witten can't take it, comes back on the Clermont side. Sivivatu was that a little shove from Wallace. Sivivatu was looking for it again. It's covered by Humphries, and the nimble-footed Humphries comes away, but not for long because Julien Vardy is there.
Nimble feet, calm mind. That's brilliant from Ian Humphries. He read the situation, but not only did he read it, he had the composure to take the ball, the feet to step his man, and then he wanted to find Clermont players to just settle the occasion. And again, to the disgust of this home crowd, the penalty goes against Clermont. But again, Sivivatu is such a dangerous runner. Muller does give him a little tug, but he does protest too much.
The milking machine was out again from Sivivatu.
I think we have to say the pictures are coming from French television, so you can see there they're trying to say Chris Henry definitely in the way of Andrew Trimble. Very good pictures, but they have a slightly Gallic feel to them at the moment because it's getting really tense here.
Tension will just rise and rise for Clermont if Ulster stay right in it like this. And Witten with a little dummy finds Trimble off that right wing, supported by Ted Blanche and Vandenberg there. Ulster bring it this way. Alfoa looks for it.
Entry advantage.
It's advantage Ulster for a side entry. Humphries thought about the drop goal. It's a kick in front. He might as well go for more, but he can't get away after that little delay, and it will be the kick in front. And Dave Pearson wants a word with Aurélien Rougerie, the captain.
The silly penalties are giving away. Yeah. If not discipline at the breakdown, please remember they have to come back through the gate like we discussed, okay? Just 60.
His hair look-alike, Rougerie's hair look-alike Vosloo, the culprit.
Well, one thing you could say about Dave Pearson, he is not intimidated by an atmosphere. He thrives on it as well. Vosloo, who I will describe as a little meerkat. I think if he is a meerkat, It's quite a big one, but he was outstanding in the first half. But that's the sense of tension here. I think if you're in the ground, you can feel it now. And again, we've got to get back to the French, to the Clermont perspective now. They are teetering on the brink. And this was not the plan. This was not the plan. It's gone so well for 5 rounds, and Ulster are coming in, and they are stirring up holy hell here in the Auvergne.
Clermont finished the job today. Their planning and plotting in this pool would have looked so precise. It's not looking so precise now. The noise deafening for Rohan Pienaar. He's in front. He should get it. He should silence the crowd, and he does.
7. Change. 7.
Of sorts. But he did get the 3 points. That's what mattered.
Impact gets bigger now. Vosloo and Bardi goes off, and that means Lepandry, one of the most dynamic young back row forwards in France, on the bench here in Clermont, will come on. It gets harder, but they have a 3-point buffer.
Bardi, who came on at Ravenhill, Lepandry comes on in this game. Different sort of 7. Terblanche feels the full weight of Clermont-Auvergne there, and they get the put in.
Well,
again, Clermont respond from the restart. Did that last time, came straight back with 3 points. What a scrum this is.
It's a great chase there. Ulster are saying we were taken in the air. Dave Pearson says not from the kick-off. Brock James very assured. He's given his team a great position here.
Clermont not in that almost assured place of a qualifier on 17. Ulster as a victor would be at home. Here go Clermont though. We've got over a quarter of the match still to go. There is nothing done here yet. Here in the massive centre. And Clermont looking for a giant effort on this attack. Parra along the line. Here's the dangerous Sivivatu. It's Lee Byrne with the big handoff. He had a man outside. It was Melzier. He went for the line himself to use that weight of his, and there's plenty of it, Lee Byrne, when he runs at pace. Parra. Ulster calling for men on that side to support the defence, but Parra's going to bring it to the blind side, it seems, the way he's shaping up. No.
Here comes the drive.
Leaves it to the forwards. Bonaire went in there first. Vosloo's there as well. Clermont with their Heineken Cup hopes on the line here. There's Davati, stopped by Court and others. It needs more than one, and that's Ulster's problem here. If too many get sucked in, will suddenly Clermont look for the win. Parra checks. Here goes James, but the whistle has gone. The whistle has gone because there's a scrap on this near side, and everybody's getting involved. If the crowd could, they would. Easy.
Oh, what
an atmosphere.
Well, I think the crowd are going to be incensed. I reckon Ulster are going to get a penalty here. Paddy Wannenberg wanted to get up to defend, and he was being held. He was being histrionic about it, but he was absolutely right. And I think that's what Roy Maybank saw when his flag came out on the near side. Ferris
there.
There's Wannenberg, no, number 8 now. Look at Paddy Wannenberg behind him. He's going to go down. Ferris is held. 2 of them are held.
As the ball moved away and the next rack formed, White 5 just refused to let go of the red players. They held on to it for a long time, just what caused that worry afterwards.
White 5. I haven't seen it. Your recommendation?
Penalty against White 5.
There's one way of sucking in the defenders, and it's illegal.
Foul play flag. You're holding a player on the floor, not allowing him to play the ball. It's penalty against him.
Great piece of officiating. Week in, week out, we see players get away with that, and officials spot the punch. Look at this, Hines has got two of them. He's got Wannenberg with his right hand. He's hanging on to Ferris with his left. It's an amazing piece of wrestling, but it's illegal and it is a penalty.
Make a case it was a card, but of course it was Clermont who were in the danger zone, not Ulster.
Well, you tell these 18,000 people it's a card, Miles. I'll go with a penalty right now. It's starting to feel slightly hostile.
Yeah, referee probably thought, let's just keep the socks yellow at the moment.
But that defence by Trimble, when he came out of the line, superb. And Wannenberg stepped off his line and made a great tackle. It was brilliant defence from Ulster.
That's pretty good as well at that line out. So accurate, Rory Best. And how he's worked on that. Named as the Belfast Telegraph Player of the Year this week. And a thoroughly justified award, that is. Trimble chases along with Ferris, and it's loose. And it's Julien Pierre who fields the ball for Clermont, and now they will get a penalty. The warning was issued by Dave Pearson. It was Chris Henry who got the warning.
Yeah. 7 there, you can go, Henry. Doesn't release, and then he's off his feet. It's a penalty, all right. Brock James. He's looked the calmest home player on the pitch since he's come on. But Brock James, when he gets in the choke position, will he produce the goods? We've seen him against Leinster run from the pressure. Will he stand up today if it's this close and Clermont needs something in the last minute? It is intriguing.
That change at half-back for Ulster. And as well as Ian Humphries has played, Paul Marshall and Ruan Pienaar recently linked so well in the game at Edinburgh. But it put Humphries under pressure for a starting place before the Leicester game. It was discussed. Humphries goes off now, Pienaar to 10. Now it's Rougerie, the Clermont captain. Well, Ulster can leave here, whatever, heads held high, but it's about so much more than that. It's about Ravenhill in the quarter-final, and it's Fofana to Malzieu. Is this the moment when Ulster finally crack? It's coming at them harder and harder now. Dabati. There could be a nasty injury as well. It's Fofana, I think, who is clutching his leg. It's way off the ball, so that's bad news for Clermont and also the Six Nations in general. But here's James on Vosloo. In goes Hines. He's not holding on to anybody this time. Dabati. What an impact he's made. Are you watching Philippe Saint-André? Still Clermont without one of their centres, Wesley Fofana. 24th birthday yesterday, but he's suffering in pain here. But trying to help with that pain, his teammates going towards that Ulster line. Drive after drive, wave after wave. In goes Hines again. He might have cleared out illegally there, but the referee's not going to give it. It's Paolo who throws the ball away, and Clermont have got their try. There is something almost animalistic about this place. It's savage. And they might have ripped Ulster's hopes in this game, not in the tournament, but in this game with this try.
Fofana is so dangerous, glided into space there. Malzieu does very well to pick that up off his bootstraps, and then it's more of the same in terms of the Clermont forwards battering, but we talked about their impact off this bench. Tio Paolo, a crusader, goes low, drives low, and eventually Ulster's brave defence is penetrated.
And Hines on Henry, was that a penalty? Would have been a brave one to give for Dave Pearson, but was it more blocking?
Happened so fast, didn't I? Can understand why Pearson's not seeing that. That's what Ulster fans didn't want to see. This stadium, quite literally, is rocking.
You're right. Literally rocking. Sometimes we say it, today we mean it. It's moving. Here's Parra. And there's more coming on for Clermont. But C's about to come on, not a big prop, the South African. Here's Parra, conversion somehow amidst all this din. He has to stay calm, but he's used to it. and he does it very well, time and time again.
That's a superb kick from Para, because it means Ulster need 2 penalties or a try. That's where Fofana goes down. It's a lovely offload there. And Clement right now.
Well, they're top of the pool because of the try scored.
Yeah, 1 try more. Amazing.
The points difference in this game is 4, as you can see. It was 5 at Ravenhill, but it comes to tries before points difference within the pool, and now Clement lead on that between these two, 2-1 because of that try. They are currently topping the pool. Oh, Brock James is currently looking at the grass.
Well, shameful from Brock James. Henry, does he touch him? Well, he does actually. James has really gone down. It's all a little bit too lactic, but that's a penalty, and Dave Pearson is looking. I mean, as a former fly half, you expect to get whacked around a bit, but it's not within the law. It's not much, but it is a pen.
I think Dave Pearson needs to give that one not straight, which will be a popular call. I think Dave Pearson, really hate putting words into people's mouths for Dave Pearson to answer this, but you get the feeling that he just doesn't tolerate the acting. As soon as he sees any of it, he walks away and said, OK, I would have given you the penalty, but if you're going to make the most of it like that, I'm not interested.
Well, if you're not going to referee according to the law, and that's your philosophy, it's a pretty decent philosophy. It was pretty sad from Brock James. Should have been a penalty, and it was daft from Henry.
And to stress once again, we've got no idea that Dave Pearson is thinking that's grossly unfair to do that. But, you know, we could debate these things, and it does feel like that. We've had enough examples in this game to reach that conclusion.
It's a positive spin for Dave Pearson as well, isn't it? We regard that as good refereeing.
Crouch.
There's a lull. There's a lull in this noise, this cauldron.
It's tantalising for Ulster, though, because it's still only 4 points. Can they grab another score with that prize of Ravenhill, where the capacity isn't up to what is required for a quarter-final of this competition, but there are ways and means.
And the other side, it's tantalising for Clement. Right now, they're top in the pool, but they're 1 conceded try from possibly going out of the Heineken Cup. Clement lead, but there's no safety net for them. There's 14 long, agonising and fascinating minutes ahead.
Para, James.
Hazard's offside there.
Trimble's in trouble because that is right in the corner. Ball breaks well for Trimble, and it's still moving, and it will be all the way back. Andrew Trimble showed his experience there.
Well, that has to go down as an error. James struck the ball imperiously yet again, but he really went for broke, and you feel with the way Clement are playing, as we see Jamie Cudmore about to come on for Julien Pierre, you felt that they didn't need to go bang for the corner and take that risk.
Well, it's become a scrap, and of course Jamie Cudmore is the perfect man for it, the Canadian international. Mind you, he's had his ban for the season.
A cynic would say here's 3 points opportunity for Ulster. It's a little bit harsh on him, but it would be fair to say he has always controlled his temperament in an ideal manner.
Hey, look, that is not putting words into people's mouth, that is reaching a very safe conclusion. Jamie Cudmore has a ban a season, we all know that. He plays on the edge, sometimes over the edge. That's why coaches, as a rule, quite like having him in their ranks.
Stirs the pot, doesn't he? Yeah. Now, interesting, we go back to the scrum from James's kick that went out. Marshall is very, very quick. Brock James has come on the short side. It's a big short size. Can the Ulster pack put Paddy Vandenberg on course there and just try and get Marshall and Trimble second wave? James would be a target of Ulster's attacking play.
Scrum goes on.
It was a good scrum.
Marshall eventually goes in. Offside was given. Pienaar, but it's first with the backs. Marshall again. Is there an extra man? There's going to be 1 against 1 initially, and by that time, well, the time Gilroy has got it. The cover has come across anyway. Offside at the scrum.
And that's all because of the excellence of Ulster's scrum. The scrum has earned so many opportunities for Ulster today. I think they've been superb there. And Ruan Pienaar just gets some mud off his left boot, then his right, and says, let's get this to 1 point. We have time to win it. Superb scrum. Pedri Vandenberg's control excellent. There you can see Parra's up and the men outside him, they've all come up.
Not from a kick-off.
Now Clermont have had their problems, as we alluded to earlier in the scrum this season. Injuries, long-term ones to Domingo, Conor Domingo, ACL, he's done. David Turakashvili, well, he injured his arm, didn't he? Fractured it against Leicester, but remember in the Leicester game here that the Leicester scrum on a few occasions got on top of Clermont, and it's happened here again. John Arfoa, terrific signing and supported by Rory Best and Tom Court.
And one has to say, in a European context, you can't feel too sorry when the big French teams lose 1 or 2 players. They have mighty squads. That's why they sign so many players and spend so much money for these eventualities.
Pienaar, similar place to his last one. Same results for Ruan Pienaar now. 16-15.
Manufacture the territory and the spot. And once again, Ulster have put themselves within 1 well-struck kick of not just topping this pool, but possibly, definitely getting a home game and possibly knocking out mighty Clermont. It is so exciting here.
Regan King is on.
Great kick.
So stop doing the maths if you are for aggregate scores between the two. It's tries at the moment that is separating them, and it's the try that Clermont have scored today.
Wait, forwards. Yeah.
That's the key one.
A strike there from Pienaar, who's shifted 1 position out from 9 to 10. Will be a disappointment to Clermont, and of course a concern that the line-out hasn't gone well today. Pierre should be starting for France. He's not really dominated. Bonner's been quiet. Cudmore, a real presence around the park. Has always been the greatest line-out forward, though. Presence in front.
Taken by Lapondry. 2 tries last week in the Ironi game. How different that match to this.
Rosie, happy?
Fofana, who's recovered well. I do apologise, that was Regan King. Fofana alongside. That's Morgan Parra. And this is Clermont again. Parra. James once more. And that, from Pedri Vandenberg, is deemed to be hands in the ruck. Almost.
Well,
brilliant work.
Almost brilliant. It's another man's yellow card though, isn't it? Vandenberg's played very well. What he doesn't do is release the man after the tackle. He knows what he's doing. That's a desperately dangerous attacking situation. And I think the Clermont crowd have been on Dave Pearson's back a little unfairly for much of this game, but if there'd have been a yellow card there, you'd have said that's probably fair enough.
Yes, again, given the situation where the offence occurred, the geography of the offence.
He's been good, Pedri Vandenberg, really good.
I'm not too worried about the yellow card, though, the crowd there. They're just so nervous, so edgy about the end result and accumulating points. They want to get Parra in there and kicking and get those points on the board and start to breathe again, and that's what Parra allows them to do a little with that kick.
We're out of the drop goal penalty range again. If Ulster want to top this pool, they need a converted try. sorry, a try. That would do it.
Okay.
He has been a real workhorse today, Vosloo. Times look fairly wild and uncontrolled, but he's a presence at that breakdown.
The kicking's getting harder. That one obviously not, because it was so close, but that wind is whipping now. Flag is up.
Job done for Ulster. They've got the ball.
Ulster line out.
16.
Henry's played well again, not the senior squad recognition that many in Ulster thought he was going to get this week. It's the one cap back in 2010. He's playing, you feel, some of the best rugby of his life.
Well, that was his last act, wasn't it? It might be an important one, just giving 3 points away, and there you can see Vosloo being hauled into touch there by the red of Ulster. 75 minutes gone. Ulster can win this one from here, then they are contenders.
And they are going to be at home in the Heineken Cup quarter-final.
Hands on, hands on.
That slapped down by Brock James, deemed to be just a knock-on, not deliberate. Johan Muller
turned around.
Well, his show of dissent has created a penalty. Muller felt it was a deliberate knock-on, and from this distance, it looked that way. Dave Pearson was closer to it. He thought just a plain and simple knock-on. Muller lost his temper, and now it's a penalty, Clement.
I think Johan Muller is absolutely right, but if we're going to be consistent, if we're going to say that Chris Henry did drop the shoulder into Brock James and James got away with it because he died, then you've also got to say a player can't start arguing with the referee. He does slap that one down. Johan Muller is right, but if Dave Pearson is going to say, I don't like what you're doing, I'll interpret it in the spirit of the game, which I approve of. In the spirit of the game, what Muller did, you can't get away with.
Well, clearly not an attempt to catch the ball, but anyway, Clement have the ball, and they are going to keep this tight. James, and when they do go wide, they go loose, and it was nearly lost. Still might have been. Ulster getting the bodies there, getting the ball. Marshall kicks. Might have kept that in the hands. There were some quick men outside him, 2 centres plus a wing. Here's Rougerie, has gone to fullback now.
Well, that's worked very well in the end from Marshall. That ball just wouldn't go into the 22 where Rougerie wanted it, or into touch where Clement have the line out. He was just pinned in a corner. That's a little bit sloppy there. And it's a good decision in the end. The chase is good. And Ulster have a reasonable position, and they have a good line out.
Ulster score a try here. They win the game. They top the pool. They're at home in the quarter-final. Clement would have just the 1 bonus point. They'd be on 17, and their position would be precarious. It could all swing in the last 2.5 minutes. Ulster have got to hold on to this ball first, though, to engineer, to create an attacking opening. Little Marshall to pass out. It's not a great pass. Did Muller lose it? Yes, he did. Now, is that the moment that Clement claimed the pull?
2 minutes to go, but that was a very good attacking situation. And one has to say, from Ulster's point of view as well, they haven't really looked like scoring tries in this second half. Clement have dominated territory. They have been the more physical team, and Ulster have struggled really to make a dent in what has been an extremely abrasive rushing defence. And Muller, penalised for dissent, now spills a ball, though it wasn't a good pass from Marshall. It's a nervy pass.
And if Ulster are to be away in the quarter-final, as it looks like will be the case now, they can still take so much from this game. 36 going on 37, this unbeaten run for Clement Auvergne, but for Ulster to come this close. Remember, Munster got a bonus point here, Leinster got a bonus point here, and in those years went on to win the Cup, 2006 and 2009.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
It certainly won't destroy the feel-good bubble. Now, 78 minutes, this has to go into the corner.
already pointing his mullet, and Henry is there as well.
Has to go.
They're on the same page, the forwards. Now they need their kick of Pinar to put it right in there, right in the corner. Nothing conservative, there's no point. They've qualified already.
Not bad. Actually, not great.
Careful here. Hold on.
Could have been closer. Ulster will know that. But with less than a minute, they go quickly. And it's not straight. And Rory Best, who has done so much right, gets that one wrong and denies Ulster the chance to close out the game. The referee said that he decided, not the assistant. It's a quickie. Dave Pearson's looking over the shoulder.
He's right.
And it wasn't straight.
Still. Crouch.
Just one slight reservation for Ulster. They've given themselves positions a few times in this half, and they've been a little bit hasty, and they have already qualified. They'll be disappointed with their lack of composure.
Scrum on the move already there.
Move, off tackle, get off it.
The referee turns a blind eye to that one. Clermont were wanting it, didn't get it, but what they want now is the ball to put it off. It seems like if they played here every week, they would win every competition. They were pushed right to the limit, though. Right to the limit by Ulster today. Clermont, with that victory, with that try, will top this pool. Ulster already knew today that they had qualified for the quarter-final of the Heineken Cup. And now they know that in that quarter-final, they will have to play away from home.
Well, even so, Ulster showed enough in defeat after the performance at Leicester to suggest that they will be nobody's fools. They're a danger to anyone at the knockout phase. As for Clermont, they will now be watching results. They weren't at their imposing best. Ulster at times made them look average. If Clermont can scramble a home tie here at the Stade Marshal Michelin, they will be a very difficult team to beat. But they do not yet look like European champions. If Munster, Cardiff force them to go away, I think they're vulnerable.
Time will tell on that. Centenary season for Clermont. They're in the Heineken Cup quarter-final. But what a game for Ulster's 100th in the competition. Not quite the result, but they live with Clermont almost every step of the way on Clermont territory.
What if for Ulster, isn't it? A huge performance from them, so physical, and they stood toe-to-toe with the powerhouses of French rugby, but unfortunately, they have come up just short. They were already through before this one kicked off, and they were obviously still through, but it's Clermont who top the pool. They get the big cue and take pool 4, but Ulster, with a losing bonus point as well, are also through, and Leicester have come through to beat Ayr only by 31 points to 60, but scant consolation for them. But Clermont and Ulster both march on. So, top 8 as it now stands. And it looks like this. Leinster through, and at the moment they are top seeds. Clermont up there as well. Munster going for a home quarter this afternoon. Toulouse scrambled through last night. Saracens and Cardiff Blues have got to finish the job tomorrow. Ulster will be one of the best runners-up, and Edinburgh at the moment hold the keys to that other spot. So, this is likely to change, but for what it's worth, this is the quarter-final draw as it stands right now. Leinster would host Edinburgh. Ulster would be on the road again to Clermont. Munster would welcome the Cardiff Blues, and Toulouse would take on Saracens. Lots more to come this weekend, though. And it's not long to go until we get underway here at Stadium MK. Last week, Saints ended the Scarlets' European dreams for another season. This afternoon, they're going to try and dent Munster's defeat for the men in red. It means that they are likely to be on the road in the quarters. But in truth, Northampton never really recovered from Ronan O'Gara's drop goal and their defeat at Thomond Park in round one. It's felt like an open wound for much of this season. And tonight, they get the chance for closure as Munster make the return journey here to Stadium MK. But to reflect on what we've just seen, so close, but unfortunately not the job done. Not quite as clinical as they could have been, and I think just Claremont shaded it with that try being the defining moment of the game. But I think crucially the Ulster players can go in, they can look themselves in the face and they know that they give absolutely everything. Maybe not quite as clinical as they were last week, but they're there, and certainly, as Stuart Barnes said, there will be no rollovers for whoever draws them in the quarterfinals. Credit to Claremont, really. I mean, they were in a bit of a hole and they managed to battle their way out of it.
They did, but I think Ulster should be looking very positive on this. On the road, their performances haven't been that strong. I think today they showed that they can go anywhere and really perform. You know, there was a bit of a block by Nathan Hines. That try wasn't allowed. It could have been an Ulster win today. But they've shown that they are certainly going to put their hands up in the quarter-final. For Claremont, yeah, when things were going well for them, it was very good. But they did manage to just eke it out. Their scrum faded with Ulster getting very strong in the second half in that area. But with the pick and drive, just that power. They have so many powerful players that it just, when you get tired, the opposition gets tired, they just managed to bang away, and Brock James did a very good job when he came on. OK, you guys are going to have a look at the defining moment.
Yeah, absolutely. What a marvellous game, and two great teams going into the quarter-final. We're going to pick up the moment we just feel decided the game, really, the try. And we'll look at Fofana again and his movement and his involvement.
And the key things to recognise, just this first play is Claremont just coming in attack. This time he's going to run a dummy run. He's going to try and hold this part of the Ulster defence and try and get these wide guys into play. And you just watch here. This is great play. The first thing is Witten. We talked about the defence of Fofana in the first half, but Witten does a great job because this is Rougerie, Boslow, sorry, and he's just trying to get numbers on top of him, but he cuts off the defensive line and then just trusts his inside.
What you got to remember is 61 minutes on the clock. The boys are exhausted. That's excellent, excellent defence, but they were clinging on. You felt that second half. Some big performances, very strong, but some of the guys were on their knees, and eventually that moment was going to come. And who better for the ball to come to than that man, Fofana? He's just going to spot just the gap in the defence line's great there, but Tui just loses his inside man, and Fofana is like a rat up a drain pipe.
I think what he does, he recognises Vonenberg, and he just says to James, that's the line I want to run. I want to pull Vonenberg in. I want to really stress him, and I want to put Tui in a decision-making position defensively. Remember, these guys are out on the feet. Big second rowers, back rowers, up against one of the fastest men in the Claremont side.
And the key to understand body language in the midfield, OK, James is picking up the ball. He's looking at Fofana. Fofana in the eye. There's a lot of it's done in the eyes. In your close quarter, you can tell the feel. Come with me, we're going this way. Out in the back's just the look. Brock's picked it up, and Fofana's just going to shake the hips and just slide down the ball. And on the back of that, Vandenberg's got no chance.
This is it. We talked about it in the first half. When they get the opportunity, Pearce, offload, punch numbers around the decisive man. Got Tui. Tui's had to come in, and they're there. Malzou on the outside. What a wonderful offload. He really gets the opportunity. Keep the ball alive. But now we're coming to the decisive try. Now, something I want to talk, American football style. No. Hines just going to push in front there. He's just going to clear that man out.
He's a tight end, as he called it in American football. He's going to go up the outside. He's going to block Lawrence Taylor, number 56 for the Giants, which is Henry on this occasion. And he's going to allow Polo, the biggest quarterback I've ever seen, to just sneak in from a yard out and pick up a 7-pointer.
Just watch. Hines, clever little play. There's the space. Paolo in, try. The decisive try in such a close game and such a brave Ulster effort.
Will Ulster feel aggrieved?
Yes, because that's American football and this is rugby. And Hines got nailed for earlier on, but... You know,
I think we all saw it in the studio here in real motion. I said that's the block before the try was even scored. That close, right in front of the referee. Should have got. I thought referee Pearson did a very good job refereeing today, but I think they should have caught that one.
I completely agree, and it's got to be pinged. The flip side of it, we've got to understand Claremont and why they've lost one game in about 4 years, and they're 36 unbeaten. Because the physicality they bring, and I get your point, it's a pen, but you just